Hello there, I'm Black Bright News, and somebody asked for my thoughts on the cashless society. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to keep it structured and yeah, so let's begin. When money goes digital, control, convenience, and the quiet fears of ordinary people. That's what I've titled it. There's a quiet anxiety many people are carrying right now, and it often surfaces when the conversations turn to money. Not wages exactly, not prices alone, but the sense that something fundamental is shifting beneath our feet. Cash machines disappearing, bank branches closing, signs in the shop windows say card only. And in the background, a deeper worry whispers between friends and shared online. What happens when money is no longer something you can hold? For some, this feels like progress. For others, it feels like a slow removal of choice. And for many ordinary working people, it's not about conspiracy, it's about control, dignity, and the fear of being locked out of your own life by a system you don't fully understand. So let's slow this conversation down and breathe some clarity into it. First, it's important to say this plainly. Most governments are not secretly flipping a switch tomorrow to abolish cash. Cash is still legal tender. In many countries, including the UK, there are active debates and even protections around access to cash, particularly for vulnerable communities. What is happening, though, is something more gradual and more complicated. We are living through a shift driven by technology, convenience, and cost. Digital payments are cheaper for banks to process. They reduce physical infrastructure. They fit neatly into a world where people shop online, get paid electronically, and manage life through apps, and we've done that to ourselves. From a business perspective, this makes sense. From a human perspective, it's a far more messier. Because while we like having our salaries paid into our accounts and it's easy to just stick your phone on a scanner and everything's done so quickly and seamlessly, we are giving away control and we have authorized it. Anyway, because cash isn't just a payment method, cash is privacy. Cash is certainty. Cash doesn't glitch. It doesn't require a password, a smartphone, a signal, or an update. For someone paid weekly, budgeting with cash is not old fashioned, it's survival. This is where fear begins to grow. Not from nowhere, but from lived experience. People already know banks can freeze accounts. They've seen it happen in cases of fraud investigations, benefit disputes, sanctions, immigration issues, or algorithmic red flags. Sometimes these freezes are justified, sometimes they're clumsy, sometimes it's due to a technical error or hacking. When this happens, people are left unable to buy food while appeals drag on and fixes are worked on. So, when people hear talk of a cashless society, they don't imagine efficiency, they imagine vulnerability. And that fear deserves to be taken seriously, not mocked. At the same time, digital money is not new. Most wages, pension and benefits have been electronic for decades. The system already has power over money, cash or not. What's changing is how visible and total that power can feel when alternatives disappear. This is the real issue, not digital payments themselves, but loss of choice. A society where digital payment is available is very different from one where digital payment is the only option. Choice is what keeps systems humane. Choice is what protects the elderly who don't bank online, the domestic abuser survivor hiding savings, the worker paid in cash jobs, the person whose phone is broken at the worst possible moment. There's also a deeper psychological layer here. Cash feels like ownership. Numbers on a screen feel conditional. And when trust is in institution is already fragile because of austerity, rising costs, shifting rules, people naturally ask what happens when trust breaks completely. It's worth saying this too. Not every concern is a conspiracy. Not every concern is irrational either. Some fears are exaggerated. For example, the idea that government want to monitor every coffee you buy tomorrow. That level of security would be politically explosive and technically complex. But concerns over automation, algorithmic decision making, and the lack of human appeal are very real. Systems built for efficiency don't always handle human nuance well. So, what can ordinary people realistically expect? In the near future, cash is likely to coexist with digital systems, but in a reduced role. Access may become patchier. Convenience may favour those who are digitally confident. Friction will increase for those who aren't. That's not dystopia, but it's inequality if left unaddressed. What can allay these fears isn't blind reassurance, it's safeguards. Safeguards look like guaranteed access to cash services within communities. They look like the right to human review when accounts are frozen. They look like transparency about why decisions are made and how to challenge them. They look like keeping cash viable, not just technically legal. On a personal level, agency still matters. Diversifying how you access money, keeping some savings offline where possible, staying informed rather than overwhelmed, teaching older relatives digital basics without shaming them, supporting policies that protect access rather than shrugging and assuming it's inevitable. And perhaps most importantly, we need to change the tone of this conversation. Fear thrives in silence. Trust grows in honesty. A cashless future doesn't have to mean a heartless one, but only if people stay engaged, ask hard questions, and refuse to trade dignity for convenience without scrutiny. This isn't about resisting change for the sake of it. It's about insisting that progress carries people with it, not over them. Because money at its core is not just currency, it's time, it's labour, it's choice. And any system that forgets that will always feel threatening, no matter how modern it looks. And I'm Black Bright News. I exist to slow the news cycle down, to explore power, policy and people with care, clarity and compassion. I don't dismiss fear and I don't inflate it. I ask what change means for real lives, especially for those often unheard. And that's all I've got to say for now. I do understand your concerns, but I hope that answered that follower who asked the question. Bye-bye for now.